Switching gears for now, China has unveiled what a mainland military magazine claims is a major breakthrough in the global hypersonic arms race. With its long-range scramjet-powered missile known as the CJ-1000. According to the February issue of a Chinese magazine, the road-mobile CJ-1000 was displayed during a Victory Day military parade in Beijing last September. The publication claims the missile is powered by an advanced air-breathing scramjet engine and describes it as a sign that China has moved from closely following to taking a leading position in advanced aerospace technology. In fact, the Chinese magazine also claims that the CJ-1000 has a range of at least 2,500 kilometers. It is designed it may carry larger warheads than ship-based systems because it is land-based and not limited by naval launch constraints. These claims are important to note because it comes from a Chinese defense publication and have not been independently verified at the same time. So what exactly is a scramjet missile? Let's just break this down for you. Scramjet stands for supersonic combustion ramjet. Unlike traditional rockets that carry both fuel, oxidizer, scramjet engine breathes oxygen directly from the atmosphere while flying at hypersonic speeds, which is Mach 5 or faster. Because it does not need to carry its own oxygen, the missile can be lighter, more fuel efficient, and potentially fly farther and faster. Another key difference here is how it flies. Scramjet-powered missiles cruise at altitudes of around 20 to 30 kilometers. It is much lower than generic hypersonic glide vehicles. Flying lower makes detection by enemy radar more difficult, and because the engine continues operating throughout flight, scramjet missiles can maneuver more aggressively during both the cruise and terminal phases. According to the same publication, the only operational scramjet-powered hypersonic missiles are China's CJ-1000 and YJ-19, along with Russia's 3M-22 Zircon. The US, in fact, was the first country to demonstrate scramjet flight back in 1998 and achieved a sustained 240-second test in 2013. However, the publication claims the US has fallen behind in weaponizing scramjet systems. Meanwhile, this also brings us to the America factor. In January 2025 itself, President Trump announced the Golden Dome Initiative, an ambitious missile defense program designed to protect the entire United States from aircraft, drones, and missile attacks, including potential threats from China and Russia. The project is expected to finish by 2029 at the end of Trump's second tenure. If China's claims about the CJ-1000 are accurate, scramjet-powered missiles could present a serious challenge to systems like the Golden Dome. Their lower flight altitude, high speed, maneuverability could complicate early detection and interception, especially if they are deployed in large numbers. And with these claims and counterclaims, the hypersonic arms race is clearly entering a new phase. Global strategic stability may also depend on just how effective and how real these systems ultimately prove to be. West Asia is on the edge. US and Iran seem to be alarmingly close to war, with America beefing up its military presence. Amid the growing nervousness about the disruption to shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, markets have reacted negatively. In fact, Brent crude oil prices rose 2%, building on yesterday's 4% jump. Similarly, U.S. oil benchmark West Texas Intermediate was up 2.2%. And all of this triggered a meltdown in many markets across the world. For instance, India's stock benchmarks, Nifty 50 and BSE Sensex crashed, falling over 1.4%. And this was their biggest daily loss in more than 2 weeks. And this comes in the wake of the rising tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, which is a narrow choke point, an extremely critical one that carries roughly a fifth of the world's daily petroleum supply and over 20% of the global LNG. Early this week, Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz for a few hours when Iran's Revolutionary Guards conducted live fire drills. And as per reports, shipping traffic has slowed down because of that. That's not all. In a major show of strength, Iran and Russia are conducting joint naval exercises in the Gulf of Oman and the northern Indian Ocean, aimed at promoting security and combating maritime terrorism. These exercises are being interpreted as an indirect warning to the U.S. However, the Kremlin downplayed this and called upon all parties in the region to exercise restraint. And Russia also expressed its readiness to accept enriched uranium from Iran as part of the efforts to resolve Tehran's nuclear issue.
Плановые учения, и они согласовываются заблаговременно. Россия продолжает развивать отношения с Ираном. И делая это, мы призываем и наших иранских друзей, и все стороны региона к сдержанности, к осмотрительности, и призываем их к
Besides this, Iran also issued a notice to Yemen today that is planning rocket launches in areas across its south from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time. Now, even as Iran sounded optimistic after the second round of nuclear talks with the U.S., the American military is reportedly prepared to launch strikes on Iran as early as this weekend. And this comes as the U.S. Armada in the region is growing many-fold, comprising 2 aircraft carriers, dozen warships, hundreds of fighter jets, and multiple air defense systems. With the U.S. president consulting members of his national security team, but yet to make up his mind, explaining the current U.S. position. The White House press secretary also revealed that the U.S. and Iran are still very far apart as far as some issues are concerned, despite making some progress in the nuclear talks. She also said that there are many arguments in favor of a strike against Iran. At the same time, she hinted that Trump remains keen on pursuing the diplomacy route. Let's play this out for you.
There's many reasons and arguments that one could make for a strike against Iran. The president had a very successful operation as commander-in-chief with Operation Midnight Hammer, as you know, as you just said, totally obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities. The president has always been very clear, though, with respect to Iran or any country around the world, diplomacy is always his first option, and Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration.
The massive buildup of U.S. air power has given rise to speculation of an imminent escalation. For instance, in the last 2 days, the U.S. has sent 6 of its 16 airborne warning and control system radar planes to Europe. Out of this, at least 2 jets are headed towards West Asia. And this assumes significance also as the fleet can track hostile air and naval movements across a broad area of the battle space. And this can be crucial in wake of an Iranian retaliatory attack on U.S. assets on land and at sea. In fact, the USS Gerald R. 4 carrier strike group is also on its way to West Asia. Some experts, though, have cast doubts on whether it is actually battle ready. And this is because of the fact that this carrier group is due for a major maintenance and upgrades, as it has been deployed since June last year. And there are concerns about the crew being tired, for example, after such a long deployment. Earlier, reports suggested that Iran is eyeing a deal by offering American companies access to vast energy and mineral reserves, presenting it as a potential trillion-dollar opportunity for the United States. We told you about this. Publicly, though, Tehran maintaining that its discussions are limited to only the nuclear issue. Israel also is preparing for an escalation. Prime Minister Netanyahu, in fact, issued a stark warning to Iran. He said that Israel would retaliate forcefully against Iran if it launched an attack. Earlier, he purportedly instructed the Israeli Home Front Command to prepare for a potential war with Iran. A state of maximum alert has been declared across various security agencies. It is worth noting that Israel has called for restrictions on Iran's ballistic missile program, which it views as an existential threat. While the US has not set a precise deadline for taking a call on its next course of action, the region remains on the boil, with both sides displaying its military might. In the darkest waters on our planet, something ancient is stirring. Deep-sea explorers have just breached the darkness of the Antarctic shelf to find monsters where none should exist, and scientists are left speechless and figuring out what's happening. Our next report telling you more.
The abyss is no longer a silent void. It is a frontier of impossible survival. Deep-sea explorers have just breached the darkness of the Antarctic shelf to find monsters where none should exist. Humanity has mapped the surface of Mars, yet the crushing depths of our own oceans remain a terrifying mystery. For centuries, the frigid, high-pressure zones beneath the Antarctic ice were thought to be a biological wasteland, too cold and too dark for apex predators. But new deep-sea expeditions have just shattered that illusion. For the first time ever, a Pacific sleeper shark, which is a species usually found in the North Pacific, was filmed swimming in deep Antarctic waters. A predator reaching lengths of up to 7 meters. Scientists are stunned. The Pacific sleeper shark is known for thriving in near-freezing temperatures, but its appearance so far south raises urgent questions. Are ocean currents shifting? Is climate change altering migration routes? Or have these giants quietly patrolled Antarctic depths all along, beyond the reach of human eyes? The shock did not end there. Recently, a rare phantom jellyfish was spotted by scientists exploring the deep sea near Argentina. The giant phantom jellyfish was filmed 250 meters below the surface in the South Atlantic Ocean. Together, these sightings reveal a deeper truth. The depths of oceans are not empty. It is active, complex, alive with predators and delicate drifters locked in a hidden ecosystem. Each expedition into the deep peels back another layer of ignorance. Each descent challenges what we think we know about our planet. The monsters of the deep are not legends. They are real, they are watching, and we are only just discovering them.